Canon just provided a development announcement for the Canon R3. This is Canon's new high-speed fashion and sports camera capable of 30 frames per second. They also announced the 100, 400, and 600mm lenses, but pricing on those is much higher than anticipated, with the exception of the 100mm f2.8. This and more after the intro. Thanks for tuning in to The Ordinary Filmmaker. Subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news like this, any rumors, gear reviews, or tutorials. And a big thanks to Atomos for sponsoring The Ordinary Filmmaker. I'm using the Ninja 5 external recorder for all my studio work, as it really does save me an awful lot of time in post. So if you want to speed up your projects in post, consider using my links down below to purchase your own Ninja. It also helps support the channel. And now for the news. We didn't have to wait long. Canon Japan just provided a development announcement for the Canon R3. Everything's in Japanese, so my translation might be off just a tad. Now, if I did get anything wrong, I'll update you on the English once the translation's out. The Canon R3 is aimed at portrait, fashion, and sports photographers. It will have the first in-house developed, full-size back-illuminated laminate sensor. It will have a high-performance video engine DivX, but no details were given on its video capabilities other than that. Now, the R3 can shoot up to 30 frames per second electronic with auto exposure and autofocus, matching the speed of the Sony Alpha 1. But no mention is given to the sensor size, and unlike previous Canon cameras, the electronic shutter has a much reduced image distortion. The autofocus system will leverage technology and performance from the well-received EOS R5 and EOS R6 cameras, using deep learning technology to further enhance eye and body detection for even better performance during portrait and action-type shooting. In addition, the EOS R3 subject detection autofocus will follow new recognizable subjects, bolstering its focusing capabilities during challenging shooting conditions. And the new viewfinder supports line-of-sight input. What does that mean? Well, when you're shooting any still image, the movement of the eyes looking through the viewfinder is detected, and I think you know where they're going with that. Now, the R3 does have a faster multi-controller or autofocus multi-controller and can quickly switch between subjects. And that line of sight input I was just talking about, it's pretty awesome because whatever you're looking at is what it's going to focus on. However, this new capability may not be available if the subject is wearing sunglasses, mirrored glasses, hard contact lenses, or bifocals. Looks like Canon's come out with line of sight before Panasonic in different use cases. A technology Panasonic's been rumored to be working on for some time to replace their contrast detect or depth from defocus autofocus system. As expected, the R3 is dust-proof and drip-proof, and that translates into it's weather-resistant. And this is an essential consideration for wildlife, nature, sports, photojournalism, and anybody else who's working in extreme conditions. It has a vertical grip common to the 1 series camera. What amazes me most is how Canon has kept this camera secret for so long. No one knew about this R3 outside of Canon until essentially 24 hours before the development announcement was given. Well done, Canon. You've been able to match Sony's secrecy, but please don't do it again. We like getting the leaks. It keeps us interested. It gives me something to put out a video on. Now, this development announcement takes me back to October 2019 when Canon delivered the development announcement for the 1DX Mark III. Now, this one is less detailed. That 1DX Mark III was almost like a complete specifications breakdown. The specs released today are clearly focused on stills capabilities, which is new for Canon. The R5, which is primarily a stills camera, well, if you'll remember last year, Canon just kept pounding the video capabilities of that camera. Now, this camera will do video, and I suspect it'll do it quite well, as it will have a high-performance video engine DivX. But what do you think? Does this camera have your attention? Does it make you regret a recent purchase? Well, there's still a lot more to come, and I hope further details are slowly leaked or announced as Canon did with the R5 last year. But wait, there's more. Canon also announced the 100, 400, and 600mm lenses. Now, the RF 100mm f2.8 will cost 181,000 yen, which converts into about, or literally converts to $1,659. Now, most likely that price is going to be changed to either reflect $1,599, $1,549, or $1,699. And I'm hoping for $1,599, which would price it at $19.99 Canadian, putting it right in my price range, and I'll be reaching out to Patrick at Downtown Camera saying, Patrick, get me one of these and get me one quick. Now, the price of the 400mm f2.8 is $1,665,000. No, I'm kidding, it's yen. But still, that translates into $14,999. That's quite a bit more than what we were rumored to get, and quite a bit more than the EF version. Now, the 600mm f4 cost $15,991, or 1,810,000,000 yen, or something like that. So I know what you're thinking. Those prices are much higher than what we were told in the rumors, and that sometimes happens. Sometimes the rumored prices we get aren't accurate. And yeah, there's several thousand. We were supposed to be getting them for $11,999 and $12,999. So yeah, $2,000 more for each one. That's pretty pricey. It looks like, yeah, you're just going to have to forego buying that next car or selling the car you have. Actually, if you sell the car you have, you might not even have enough for either of these two lenses. But sadly, I don't have a lot of details behind these lenses. It looks like I'll be ordering the 100mm this time around, and all the lenses will be available in July. However, no date's been given for when the Canon R3 will be available. And now, let's go behind the scenes. I had no idea this development announcement was coming this morning. Now, there were some hints Canon was making some sort of an announcement, but it had nothing to do with the R3. If I see something or if I expect something coming out, I'm constantly checking. And I went to bed around 11 o'clock last night, and there was nothing to be seen, nothing hinted. However, I woke up around 5 o'clock this morning, and I just had trouble getting back to sleep. And I thought, well, if I can't get back to sleep, let's take a peek at the news, because a lot's going on right now. And I immediately went to Nakashita and refreshed and go like, oh boy, here we go. Canon Japan announced. Okay, so I checked my email, and there was something from Canon Rumors. And I looked at both the Japanese and the Canon USA site, because the information was different. I didn't get the lens information from the Canon the Canon USA site, so I was able to get those on Canon Japan, so that's why I'm quoting that to you in yen. So I was mixing the information between the Canon Japan and Canon USA site. Oh, I do wish I had caught this early in the morning, but then I'd probably be completely exhausted for today. Whereas right now, I feel energized, I feel excited, because this is the R5 for this year. The R5 was the big headliner for last year. It is really what got my channel noticed. It is really what got me excited about doing this channel. It's not so much about getting the views, and it's nice when you see you getting yourself about 16,000 views in a day, but what's really cool is chasing a story, is trying to dig deeper, find out what are the capabilities of this new camera, where are we going to get information that's going to be leaked. And I remember it was January the 27th, 2020, and we got the first leak from Canon Rumors, and it was detailed, and everything in that rumor was accurate. Now, Canon Rumors did come back a little later and say, oh, we can't confirm RAW, but we did have 8K RAW. Then 3 weeks later, after a whole bunch of more rumored rumors coming out, Canon came out and made another clarification talking about no, IBIS, autofocus, all that stuff will be all in all 8K video modes, because a lot of people, and you know who you are, Tony, said there's no way it can have 8K. Okay, it's 8K time-lapse, or it's 8K this, or... And I don't blame them. Even myself, when I saw those specifications, I thought, this just seems too good to be true. Then about another 4 weeks later, Canon Australia released another update. And then right around NAB 2020, Canon came out and just released a whole bunch more stuff, but they focused on the video capabilities of the camera, and they got spanked for it when the R5 came out and it had overheat modes. This time around, Canon's taking a different approach. They're focusing on the stills capabilities, but saying, hey, look, this camera is going to be very video capable. But other than that, they didn't give us any more details on video. But 30 frames per second electronic, that matches the Sony. And like the Sony, Canon has said that depending on the lenses, you may not get 30 frames per second. The same with the Sony. You'll remember the Sony Alpha 1 will give you 30 frames per second, but if you're on some other lenses, non-OEM lenses, you might be capping out at 15 frames per second. So we don't know the specifications for Canon yet, but 30 frames per second electronic. And Sony did a great job with electronic. You didn't have a lot of rolling shutter, which has been a problem with electronic in the past. Canon's come right out and said that rolling shutter distortion is much reduced with this camera. And of course, it would have to be. It's a professional grade camera aimed at sports, fashion, and portrait photographers. You know, those people that like to do spray and pray. I'm really curious to know more about this camera, what its buffer size is going to be like. But the autofocus is definitely improved. I'm really curious to know a bit more about that line of sight. As you're looking through the viewfinder, it can tell where your eyes are looking and it will focus on those subjects. I can imagine in the menu settings, there's going to be a whole bunch of options to make that work properly and to give you control, such as even turning it off. But I'm really curious. I'm really curious about this camera. This camera has me excited. We were expecting an R1 announcement, development announcement, but that didn't happen. We've got the R3, which makes me wonder, where's the R1? What's the story behind that? We'll have to wait. We'll have to find out a little bit more. I'm going to try and dig behind the scenes. But yeah, the sun is not even up yet. It's really early in the morning, so by the time you're watching this, I'm probably at work. But for now, I've got plenty of time to take my time with this one. That's why I have a behind the scenes. You'll notice in the last few videos, I've dropped the behind the scenes. And that's because I just don't have enough time in the day. I've dropped some of the graphics. This allows me to get the videos shot quicker, to be a bit more concise, so I can get them to you quicker and do it during my breaks. Because during the work week, I've got 2 breaks, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and a 1-hour lunch break. And that's all the time I have to. So if we have breaking news during the day, I have to sit on it till lunchtime or wait till about 4 o'clock my time when my day ends. So really exciting day. But that's it for now. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, though. What do you think about this camera? How does it change your outlook on what you plan to purchase or what you've already purchased? A few of you have told me, hey, I just bought the R5. I'm excited. And I don't think this should take away from the R5, because the R5 is a very, very powerful camera. It's a camera that I'm still using today and that I'm still pushing myself. It's very, very capable. So that's really exciting. Oh, and one more thing I want to update you on. I'm telling you what it's like to run with a MacBook Air, the 13-inch M1 powered MacBook. And yesterday I failed to mention battery life. Yesterday I shot a video, and I think it's around 6 or 7 minutes long. I edited the video on that M1 Mac. I rendered it, I exported it, I did everything else on it. Then when I went back to work, I gave it to my son, who did some homework. And then throughout the rest of the day, I used it for commenting, checking news, until I was ready to go to bed, and the battery life was down to 38%. And that's stunning. Previously, on my 2015 MacBook Pro, I would be able, you know what, I couldn't get through editing and exporting without plugging it into power. A fan would be going crazy the whole time. And yeah, you could almost see the battery just ticking down, 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 down. So that's quite incredible. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win 2 Angelbird 128GB AV Pro MK2 V90 SD cards and a dual UHS-2 card reader. Or you could also win a Ulanzi LED light package with accent lights, an underwater light, and various other flat panel lights that you can use for lighting your subject, or as a great starter kit for someone starting their own channel. And if you want to support this channel, please use my links for B&H, Amazon, and consider buying an ordinary Filmmaker ball cap like this one here. And if you are interested in the R3, once I have a pre-order link, I'm going to put those in the description down below. So please, I get 2% from every purchase. It doesn't increase the price that you would pay. And like I said, it really does help me in supporting this channel. And I'm going to wait to see what the rest of the specs are in the R3, because I might consider getting one of those just so I can put it through the paces like I did with the R5. Using it day in and day out is the only way to truly get to know a camera. Again, thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.